very glad you could rejoin us. Pretty well knew you would, because Keith Edwards is still here. So too is John Pearson. Lots of Sheffield Wednesday, Sheffield United topics to address. James Gregg is with us as well to bring us his roundup very shortly. But talking about coming back, just briefly touch on a reunion of Sheffield Wednesday's 1991 promotion and League Cup winning team. There's going to be a reunion event, a dinner, I think, if you can get everybody together. Can you get the whole team and squad together?
We've just about got everybody. We've not managed to get in touch with Richie Barker, but Laurie Madden's on that case, and there isn't a player yet who's, well, there's one player, Trevor Francis, who's out of the country. Spoke to him about 2 weeks ago. Everybody else has said they're going to attend, so we're just waiting to find out. There's a couple of lads that are coming in from America. We're just waiting to find out John Hawkes' schedule, because he's just taken over managing Cincinnati. Right. So I've been emailing those two. Paul Williams is across there as well. Roland Nielsen's already booked his flight, so I know that Roland's coming. Big Ron will be there, so it'll be a fantastic night. This is, I mean, possibly the best Sheffield Wednesday team of my sort of generation. Yeah. And I don't know if you saw at least, but we actually played Man United in over 2 legs, and obviously got beat. This is why Man United went on, but I don't know whether I would have fancied playing against Wednesday at Wembley. No. It would have been a win-win, wouldn't it, though, I suppose?
Yeah,
if Wednesday had won, I could have celebrated. I could have celebrated.
But it's great that you've got everybody back together. It was a memorable team, a great team to watch.
Great characters as well.
Yeah, indeed. Starting from the manager downwards. Yeah. When is that going to be?
It's on Thursday, April the 14th, and we've had to move it to the Magna.
Not a Wednesday, then?
It's what?
Yeah. Oh, you've got the exact day. The exact anniversary day falls on a Thursday, does it?
Oh, no. I've sorted that out, because we've invited the players to stay over for the game against Ipswich on the Saturday. Right. So obviously Roland Nielsen's come all that way, he's going to stay over. So the invite goes out to everybody to see if they want to stay over, but I know that sometimes your work comes first.
People can still buy tickets?
Well, they'll have to hurry up. If you want a phone, it was 0114 324 0523, or you could email the club at community. Oh, crikey, I can't remember the email.
That's your telephone number, isn't it? Hey, I bet you could. That is your telephone number. There's no way when he was a player he'd sit on TV giving his telephone number out. No, is that your number?
No, it's not my number. But
give it again quickly. 0114
324 0523. And there are only a few tables left.
All right, that's a great event.
It'll be fabulous.
Yeah, indeed. Richie Barker, Laurie Madden is on the case, and so am I, because Laurie brought me in, I put a tweet out, and the Twitterati found Richie in Shropshire, and he's a member of a golf club in Shropshire, and I know which club that is. And so I think Laurie's in touch with the golf club. So that when he next comes in, he can say to Richie, "You're a wanted man."
Yeah, guys fantastic. That'd be great.
So you should get Richie Barker as well, all being well. Talking about golf and everything else, Sheffield Steelers, ice hockey, they've had a bit of an up and down time.
They are indeed, yeah. I mean, I was going to touch on that in the roundup, but since we brought it up, we'll bring it now. This time of year, you usually associate a Welsh-English rivalry with rugby union, with the Six Nations, but at the moment it's the Steelers and Cardiff, and at the moment the Welsh have got the edge, much like in the rugby as well. The Cardiff, they're top of the league and the conference tables to Sheffield the second, and in the cup table, the cup standings, Sheffield Steelers are leading that, and second team in that, Cardiff. So nip and tuck, but they've had a big slide. They had a 3-0 loss last weekend. It's not over till it's over, but they're running away with it, Cardiff, at the moment.
Exciting. They've been on the slide, so to speak. But anyway, so has Sheffield FC, by the way.
They
Sheffield
have.
Football Club.
Yeah, winless in 5, they've got a big game away this weekend to Loughborough Dynamo, and they're a good side in that league. Coming off the back of those defeats, they've had 1 draw in there as well. Not looking good, because, as I mentioned a few weeks ago, they're slipping slowly towards a relegation fight. They are very much in that relegation fight in that league as well at the moment. So
hope they pick up out of that. Hallam, things going fairly well.
Fairly well.
The run came to an
end. Yeah, they lost to Botsford Town. Botsford Town, good side. They're third in that division, but they've got a big game again this weekend. They're welcoming Tevisil. They're mid-table. Good chance to right a few wrongs for Ryan Hindley's men this weekend as well. So not good, really, last few weeks for some of the teams that we cover on this round.
I think that's because you weren't here last week.
Maybe. Hopefully we'll bring them some luck
effect.
this week as well. Of course, 2 Football League sides as well in action. You've got Sheffield Wednesday and Sheffield United both in action on Saturday. Birmingham welcome Wednesday to St Andrews. Sheffield Wednesday, well, 6-pointer, isn't it? It's separated on goal difference, just 2 goals in that at the moment. Really big game. You're down there, John, is that right?
No, I'm there this weekend.
All right, well, there we are.
It's a short trip, so Brian Laws has volunteered for it. It's a shorter
nice.
trip.
Yeah.
They send him down to the south coast and Plymouth or whatever.
I mean,
That's why you sound so excited when they score a goal.
No, but usually I'd buy a ticket and go down, but I've got something on this weekend, so I can't make it. So, the Forest game will be stood behind the goal, cheering the lads on.
Yeah.
It's always a good away trip. That I love it.
You still celebrate the same on the commentary as you do anyway, don't you?
It's great fun. I mean, sometimes you'd like to get away from having to actually. I know it's not work because you're actually watching your team playing and all that, but sometimes it's good to get away from the commentary and just go as a supporter. And I really enjoy it. It's great crack with the lads that I go with. We have a really good weekend.
Yeah, it's true supporter. It still stands with the fans and everything. Let's Rip on the radio. I've heard 1 or 2 of those. Yeah,
absolutely.
They go
Only
viral on
celebrating.
the internet.
Yeah, celebrating.
Yeah. He lets rip on the radio as well. Keith,
He does. I know. I mean, really, you've got
usually
two legendary show commentators here because every time United score a goal, Keith loves it. Wednesday score a goal, John's like just like it's like a fan sat in the box. It's great. It's great for fans. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
I think some people like it and others don't. I mean, you can't be everybody's cup of tea, can you?
Sometimes you can't help it though, can you? Because
I can't help it. I'm not thinking, oh God, I'll cheer this. That's just what.
Also, the fact that Keith always tells it how he sees it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether people agree with him, disagree with him, who he's upsetting. I mean, you've upset a few in your time, haven't you?
I've upset a few managers, fall out with a few of them, but I find them...
It's hard to imagine, isn't it?
It is hard to imagine, yeah.
Well, it's just the way it is, isn't it? Sometimes, I can't get my head away from the fact that if they've played badly, then there's nothing wrong with a bit of criticism. It's just part and parcel of the game.
It's the job you're paid to do.
Even I had a bad game in 1977. So you just live with it and then move on.
1987 to 91.
Yeah.
But no, I wouldn't do it like John personally. I like to be a little bit more in control and see the game.
He's just saying he's out of control.
He doesn't support
it certainly
United,
sounds like that.
You're from Middlesbrough, you don't even support United, so you're not really.
My first team, and they mean a lot to me.
Absolutely. Well, they're in action, of course. Sheffield United at home against Wigan on Saturday. The last time they played, of course, plays with 3-0 down and managed to pull it back to 3-3. So that will be a very good encounter on Saturday afternoon. Hope that Blades can put the abysmal January transfer window behind them and look forward to some, reaping the rewards on the field, let's say.
Let's hope so. And you use the word abysmal for the transfer window. I'd agree with it. I think the anger and the frustration has been well merited, frankly, in that window. And just before you just completely round up, a view from Keith Edwards on that. You're the on-field specialist, really. You see what happens on the field. But aren't you disappointed? I know you mentioned all the difficulties that there are of bringing people into a League One club.
Yeah.
But you've got Nigel Adkins' first proper in-season transfer windows, and he's just shifted bodies.
He's moved 1 or 2 out. He'll be very disappointed that he hasn't brought anyone in. As I touched on before, it's not always easy to bring him down.
And people, to be fair, aren't blaming him.
No, I think and rightly so. I think we've got used to this kind of disappointment now, and can't always bring players in. And let's be right, we've got enough players. And I think if we change it around slightly and we're a little bit more attack-minded. Not that he likes to play 2 up front. He's always done that. But it's gone the other way slightly, and then it's come back. I just think 1 or 2 players are not performing for him at a higher level. And how critical of the manager can you be when that's the case?
Yeah.
These players have got to perform. Once you've crossed the white line, then you've got to be able to do the business. And unfortunately, with the exception of likes of Sharp, 1 or 2 others. There's still, 1 or 2 are not doing it.
I mean, something you put out on Twitter the other day, Rob Page, manager at Port Vale, 3rd lowest budget, and they're exceeding all expectations. Aren't they?
Certainly one of the lower budgets. I mean, I heard it was 3rd bottom. The chairman of Port Vale might disagree with that. He's been on Twitter to say that I should put some more batteries in my calculator. So, but it's certainly one of the lower budgets.
Absolutely.
Fair to say. And that's part of the frustration, isn't it? But How do you think the Prince is going to be feeling, though, at this moment in time? I mean, people say he hasn't put much money in, but I think he has. You know, I think he's contributed significantly. And he must be really frustrated.
Yes, of course he is. Yeah, I think he's maybe hoping, waiting to get promotion and then be seen. Because if I'm being perfectly honest, I haven't seen him for an awful long time.
But he's got his man there, Jim Phipps.
Yeah.
And in fairness to Jim Phipps, he always shows. He always fronts up.
And yes, he will. And he'll always chat. I've had many a chat with him, and it's just frustrating. And what else can you say about it? The bottom line is we'd like to be up there. I think the bigger question is if we get promotion, fingers crossed, what will the reaction be then? Because he's always said there's finance there. Yeah. If we show something. Now maybe we've got to show him first before we can actually get a reaction from him. Because as you rightly point out, very, very quiet. On the scene the first couple of weeks, and then disappointed, puts Fibs in there and he'll chat to everybody and anyone. Yeah. That's good.
I think he's Minister of Sport in Saudi Arabia, which prevents him from being a high-profile football figure here, I believe. So his man is in there, Jim Phipps, who's become a bit of a controversial figure, but whether you agree with what he says or not, he's a hell of a nice man, actually. A guy who's sat there more than once and has taken all the flack and takes all the tough questions. So there's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah, absolutely. More on that. And talking of budgets as well, Sheffield Tigers Rugby Union, they've got a big budget in that league, National 3 North, top of that league by 14 points. No game for them this weekend. Sheffield Rugby Club in action at Aberdale Park, welcoming a bottom club, Burnage, there. So hopefully they can rack up a win and try and push for their promotion spot in that league as well. Sheffield Sharks, they're away to London Lions tomorrow night, and a good run of form has seen them get into the BBL Cup semi-finals. So well done to them, and we'll be documenting that little cup run, if you like, on this roundup as well over the next few weeks as well. We've already covered the Sheffield Steelers. This weekend signals the start of the Rugby League season as well. It actually starts, the Super League season starts tonight. Leeds Rhinos are in action. Hopefully I'll miss the traffic by the time I get back up to Leeds tonight. But Sheffield Eagles, big pre-season. It's their first season back as a professional outfit, and they play against Workington this weekend up in Cumbria. Good luck to them and to Mark Aston and all those players as well. It's a new look side, some big name players in there as well. All the best of luck for the rest of the season. Hopefully they can go one better than playoff finish this year as well. We'll finish off with individual. New table tennis champion in Sheffield, Jack Grant. He won the Sheffield Open. Well done to him as well. Don't hear that very often, table tennis on this roundup. And also,
I'll make a note of his name. We'll perhaps get him in.
Absolutely, why not? I'd love to hear about that. Yeah. I'd fancy myself.
I'll make a note while you're talking.
And it's and in the golf as well, Dubai Desert Classic. It's the Middle East major, really. This week, Danny Willett in action. He shot a round of 2 under par. He's tied 29th. Matt Fitz, not so good for him today. Tied 84th. He's off early tomorrow morning and needs a good round to see the weekend.
Excellent. Thanks very much indeed, James. Just before I forget, during the break, I had a tweet here from Mark Hope asking a good question, actually, of you as a former big, lanky striker. What about the treatment, says Mark, of Atinuhu? Who obviously there was a blatant penalty, in fact 3 penalties in one, that wasn't awarded to him at Shrewsbury in the FA Cup last week.
Yeah, it's frightening. I mean, if you look back to Peter Crouch in the World Cup, I don't know if you can remember him playing, and he'd come on or start or whatever, and he was exactly the same. He never got a foul. You know, everything, they could climb all over him. He's like a stepladder. The centre-half was all over him. Jao was a little bit different. He seems to get the free kicks for some reason, but Ati.
No, he doesn't, does he?
He gets nothing.
But at times, I think he goes down too easily. Perhaps there's an overreaction because he thinks he's going to get nothing, so he'll try and get something.
Maybe that's happened because of the way he's been treated by the referees. And I do feel for him because, I mean, he's a big bloke, he's strong, and you know, I think he holds it up well. And I thought he played particularly well second half the other night against Burnley and caused them all sorts of problems. Set the goal up, you know. So a lot of his good work goes a little bit unnoticed, and you know, he gets absolutely battered all around.
He doesn't get very little from referees.
And gets nothing for it. I mean, Shrewsbury, unbelievable.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? I thought the star man for Wednesday the other night, personal view, was a centre-back, or is he a midfield player? Sam Hutchinson up against Gray and Vokes, great strike force. He was absolutely superb.
Sam Hutchinson was outstanding. I mean, and I thought after Saturday, I was a bit worried about the back, the centre-half place, but Sam Hutchinson stepped in. We need two Sam Hutchinsons. We need him at centre-half and in midfield.
Where would you play him then?
At the moment, I'd definitely play him at centre-half. I mean, when everybody's fit, then, that's another question. I'm not sure. I think we've got more cover at centre half than that position where he plays in midfield.
Strikes me he plays more responsibly at
centre half. Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, he's
less reckless. You don't want to give penalties away.
I mean, that was a battle we were looking forward to. Sam Hutchinson and Joey Barton the other night.
Yeah.
That would have been a clash of the titans, but it never happened, did it?
No, it didn't. Oh, it's a pity.
Sam was superb. I thought there was some really good performances by Wednesday the night.
Another day, maybe.
Yeah.
One point that my colleagues are raising, and quite rightly so, in interviews, is that Wednesday, there's hardly a down at Hillsborough at the moment, so it's nearly all positive, but they haven't beaten a top 6 team.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, that's something that needs to be put right. If we're thinking about, I mean, you've got to put aside last season and the stuff that we did. We've moved up a level now. We've got a better player in, and I think Carlos is looking to even improve further. I mean, bringing McGeady in. I don't know what his fitness is like, but I hope that he comes straight in and settles down. And you can imagine him playing with Bannon, who he's been different class. Forestieri, we've got great footballers. I mean, I can imagine Keith. It's just that free flowing and freedom, and
Bannon would slip him in all the time, wouldn't he?
But and
can you play McGeady and Wallace?
Yeah,
same team.
Yeah, I don't
one
see
on
why.
each side.
Yeah, I don't see why not. See, that's why. But we've got competition. I think the competition is vital. To keep you on your toes. And Carlos is not frightened to make a substitution or even two at half time. If he thinks things are going wrong, he's very quick to try and change it. So yeah, that is the downer. We've got a really tough game at Birmingham on Saturday away from home, where we're not quite as good on our travels. Yeah. So but I saw us at Fulham a couple of weeks ago, and I thought we were superb.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can replicate that.
Talking of big games, don't come a lot bigger at League One than Sheffield United against Wigan. Two teams will be disappointed, because not only the Blades will be disappointed with their showing this season, but overall Wigan, as a big club at that level, will as well. What worries me is the overhang from the transfer window and the atmosphere. Real sort of an atmosphere of moody sort of...
I don't think you can blame supporters. I think there's always a great atmosphere. I think we've had... On occasions, surprisingly, in many ways, some supporters might not agree with that. We've had a bigger home attendance than Wednesday have had, and taking into account how well they're doing, that's some achievement. And I think overall, there's always a good atmosphere there. If you've put a show on, then you'll get the atmosphere. As you rightly point out, Wigan have done well in recent weeks. They've moved up the table. We need to put that kind of run together. Good side, Wigan. They threw me when we come back from 3-0 down. I thought it was dead and buried. That proved me wrong. Hate that.
First time this season.
Hate that.
Yeah.
But it was a good game, and I'm looking forward to Saturday's game.
Yeah, indeed. I would qualify my remark there about the quality, the quantity of support at Sheffield United is quite remarkable.
Yeah.
Considering. But there's been such a lot of gloom, such an anti-reaction to the window. You worry about that being an overhang going to a game when there's still a lot to play for. Let's face it, there is.
There's an awful lot. You just put a little run together, a couple of wins, and you're in that top 6, and then you're looking at them. You've already highlighted, look at the teams that are up there. They haven't been there before.
No.
So they might get a little bit nervous in the back end of the season. So there's every chance that they can come down as well. So I think it'll be a lot tighter than you think, and we've still got a really good chance.
A couple of years ago, about this time of year, Blades went on a run under Nigel Clough, 10 games in a row, 30 points from 30. Completed with a win, 1-0 at home against Carlisle. Can this squad do the same as that? It was a team that had Cody, Baxter in full flow. Can we do that? If
we learn to push the midfielders beyond the opposing midfield players and even the opposing defenders, we don't get enough goals from midfield, and that's my concern. How heavily do we rely on Sharp? Of late, that's been quite evident to see. So we need just to get one or two. We need to quite get the balance right. I think he's tinkered with it. He's then thrown Conor Salmon up there, and that's helped. But then his form has dipped. Now you can't blame the manager for that. He expects him to be able to set his standard and keep to that. I think personally that makes a difference in the team when you've got two up there, especially down the middle.
Gut feeling where you're going to finish?
Sixth, and then get up through the playoffs.
Right, 14.
We've got to do it eventually.
Yeah, you do.
Well, you hope so, don't you? 14 off top two, so that's not going to happen now.
That's a big ask, but it can still be done.
So it is a big ask. It is, but you know, you need a run. You know, like that.
Yeah.
Like I said, thing is, when we were in that run, we were having all that luck in the cup as well, and also we were right at the bottom. So you find yourself. Actually, you're almost playing. I know it's never pressure free at Bramwell Lane, but you know, it was almost. You go out and play.
There was a role, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was.
There was a role.
Try and take the pressure off and then just release people to get forward.
Yeah.
If we get beat by trying to go forward, I don't think the fans will. So they'll be disappointed, but they won't be overcritical of the manager for that.
He's changed the style to be gritty and grind out results. Do you think he should go back the other way now?
Well, he's changed. It's like, for me, the first 10 games of the season, it was all possession. It's all right having possession. I think Manchester United are top in the possession in the Premiership. And look at how badly they're doing. They can't score goals and what have you. So I don't know why I just plucked that one out there with Manchester United, because it's still a fabulous club, but they're not entertaining. They were awful when we played them.
Yeah, indeed.
And the point I'm making is possession football, great.
Yeah.
Well, I'd rather have less possession and more goals and the ball getting forward a little bit quicker. And people creating chances.
As you pointed out earlier, that's becoming the modern way with every team at every level. Wednesday, where are they going to finish?
Looking at the table now, we've closed down a lot of clubs. You know, Derby are on not a great run. Brighton had a little wobble. I think we can. We're 9 points off second.
Yeah, closer than United are. Actually.
Yeah. So I wouldn't write it out. I mean, I'd be a little bit surprised if we finished in the top two. But I think that we can get in the playoffs. There's no doubt about that. Can we challenge for the top two? I think Carlos is right. He said game by game, but if they keep on with the form that they've shown, I mean, how many games have we lost? We started the season Bristol City, then went on a little bit of a bad run, but after coming out of that bad run, you know, the points total is looking really good. So keep it going. McGeady coming in, fit, strong. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, he had a long face, did Keith, when he came in here tonight. Oh, another one. And it's gone. It's nearly gone, you see. So you've had a good time, you see.
He's happy, isn't he?
I'm feeling quite old at the moment. I played with McGeady's dad.
Correct, John McGeady. It was a winger as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, Speedy McGeady, that's what they all used to sing. And when he got in the first team, broke into the first team before me, I can remember feeling so jealous and quite angry that I hadn't actually got in before him. But he was a cracking player, and
it didn't quite work out for him.
No, he went back up to Scotland, but his son's a good player.
Just before we go, zip wire. Hillsborough zip wire.
Yeah, we've got a zip wire on April the 2nd. The first team away at Huddersfield that day. So we tried to do it last year, but we had to cancel it, postpone it. But it's back on, and again the same number: 0114 324 0523.
I fancy that. I've been on one of the longest zip wires in the country. So.
But it starts at the back of the Cop, and it goes all the way over the pitch into Leppings Lane. So
brilliant.
That's quality, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
There's 200 places.
Is that Route 1? Would you call that Route 1?
That's Route 1. That's a long ball game.
Long ball game, yeah. You fancy that, Keith?
Well,
rare appearance at Hillsborough.
No, not for me, to be fair. I don't like heights, but it'd be nice if somebody could do it around the ground, then maybe you could paint it up a little bit and smarten it up a bit.
Keith, hey, we're going now. Keith, John,
just a point.
James, thanks ever so much. See you next week. Bye.